Hello guys, today we will be talking about static pages in your website. So something like about us, contact, terms and conditions and stuff like that. And I will show you a few ways how to structure them, a typical way that I see people do that, then shorter way and even shorter way. So in the code you probably have something like this. In the routes you have 3 routes, in our case it's 3 routes, maybe more. So about, contact and terms. And probably it should be in somewhere in some controller for static pages, which is page controller, and every URL has its own method like about, contact and terms. And controller will probably look something like that, about, contact and terms, and maybe some additional logic inside of that. For example, we are passing meta title, which then goes to the title for SEO purposes. And then every page has its own blade file with really similar structure, extending the same layout, and then having title and the text. So about, contact, and terms. They are really similar. And then that meta title thing I was talking about, it goes on the top of HTML title, and we show that meta title or use the default Laravel. And then if you specify route names here, then you can call all those links in app blade on the top with this. So route about, route contact, route terms. And everything is working here, but I feel it could be much more elegant. So I feel that could be one liner here in route. I feel it could be one method here in controller. So when we add a 4th page or a 5th page, it could be easier and we wouldn't have to create new methods, new routes and all of that. So first thing is you can skip the controller. If you don't have any parameter to pass to your view, you can just go view about and pages about. So specify the view immediately, comment that one out, and also we need to pass the same name. We refresh our page and about page is still working. So that's a shorter way. If you don't have any logic in the controller, use route view. But if you do, let's try to come up with one route for all of that. And we go route get / page for any variable, and we go page controller. And there is some Laravel magic involved here. First, this route should be the last in the whole list. So in the whole routes web file, it's kind of a fallback for any URLs that weren't mentioned previously. Next thing, we don't mention any method here. So how does Laravel know which method to go with? And there is a thing called invokable controllers, or single action controllers they are sometimes called. So instead of all of these methods, and we will write our own function, could be underscore invoke. It's similar to have a job with method handle. So method invoke in the controller means that that controller has the only method. And we go return view pages. And how do we know this one? Is it about, is it contact, is it terms? We go request segment 1. That is the first part of the URL, the first after slash. So to try it out, we comment out these URLs. Also, we need to comment out the links. For now, we will get to them because for now we don't have that route about. So this thing will be changed. But the page itself is working. So /about is working. And if we go to contact, it is also working. And we go to terms, working. So our first goal is accomplished. We have one route instead of 3. Now, how do we make those links working? Because every route had a name for us, right? So we do name page, and then we can comment them in and do route page with a parameter about page and parameter contact, page and parameter terms. So page is the route name and about, contact and terms is this one, this variable. Let's refresh our page and we have 3 links back in the header, about, contact and terms. Click around, everything is working. A few more things. That invoke method can also have a parameter, so we can pass that page as a parameter and we don't need that request. So that page comes from this one, from this variable. Next, how do we ensure that someone doesn't enter something outside of those 3? So currently our route accepts anything. So if I go to URL and enter terms 2, I would get an error that view isn't found. which is correct. But how do we handle that, and how do we not allow someone to enter anything? And we can do where statement in route. So we can go where page, which is this variable, may have some value. And that value is a regular expression. Let's make it more readable and go about or contact or terms. We save, and if we go terms 2, it shows 404 as it should do. But our terms is still working. So next time if you add a fourth page, you would have to add that here. And final thing, how do we handle meta title? Currently it's about us, it's a static thing. So we can of course do if page equals something or switch case, but it's not that pretty in my opinion. It would be more pretty to load those from somewhere, from some configuration or some env or something like that. And one way of doing that is translations. Translations are automatically parsed by Laravel, so why not use that? And I've prepared a file, resources lang en JSON, with those variables, those conditions. So if we have meta title something, then we'll load that. So we load meta title would be a variable, meta title would be underscore underscore, which is how you call those translations. Meta title page. And the way it works is it will find a translation here, but if it doesn't find anything, then it will return the same string. So we need to check if meta title equals the same thing, then we set that to null. Meta title will be null, and then we pass that as a parameter, and let's check that. I will open the view source and let's check the title, terms and conditions, correct. But if we remove that from the translation, so for example terms will not be present, then it will fall back to Laravel. Because in the app blade file, I will remind you, we have this. If meta title is set to something, it will be shown, but if it's null, then we go back to the config. So that's it. Quite a few new things you probably have learned or practiced. Invokable controllers, route where, conditions, translations, and just generally structuring the Laravel project. Speaking about structuring Laravel project, I have a special course which is not exactly about routing, but about a lot of things, how to structure a big Laravel project. And it's one of my most popular courses on Teachable, so you can check that out. The link is on the screen. Also subscribe to the channel, and see you guys in other videos.